This is my current EDC. It weighs 16 to 18 pounds. After my keychain EDC video and carrying this guy around for a few weeks, I think I decided to figure out a way to make my EDC smaller. This is Lamar and this is MF in Research. There is a place for that full loadout with redundancies and being prepared for every situation. But I wonder if Pareto's principle applied to EDC or the 80-20 rule, depending on what you want to call it. And in this case, I'd like to think that 80% of the tasks that I need to accomplish in any given day can be handled by 20% of the gear that I carry. Another way to look at it is I could reduce what I carry to 20% of the original size and still keep 80% of the functionality. So that means in this experiment, I'll be looking to carry less, and when I can, carry smaller. Plus, I love the modular approach to EDC. I like to think of it like the cartoon Centurions from when I was little. Let me know if you're old enough to remember this cartoon. If you are, put a power extreme in the comments. So I like to give myself ground rules and parameters to help me when I'm making decisions and to address any issues that I may come up with in the future. This is not a full EDC. This isn't designed to last for days or weeks on end. I'm looking at a day or less. The goal is not to be ready for every situation that may arise, but at least, 70, 80% of situations that I may come in contact with. Anything that I use can and will be replaced at the end of the day, so I don't need to worry about having too many. So what I'll do is I'm gonna build small EDC modules out of the things in each category, and I'm gonna start by using things that I already have, and I'll refine it later with new things. This is based on a general day, not like a day with a particular task in mind. It's like going to shoot video or going to the pool or something where you need specific gear. That's not what we're looking at here. So as we test this out and refine, I might pick some of the categories to delve a little deeper and refine that loadout and do a separate video on that. And stay tuned until the end. I'll show you how much weight I saved with the test kit that I built out. So starting out with your backpack, a lot of weight is in the bag you carry. Usually an EDC is 20 to 28 liters. Some people go smaller, some people go larger, but I'll stick to that for the sake of this. You can always slim down by going with a sling. If you're really not ready to slim all the way down, you can go somewhere between 15 and 17 liters for a larger sling. You can go like 5 to 10 for a medium sling, or you can go under 5 liters for a small sling. So if you're really adventurous, you can try fitting all your EDC in a pouch. I've used the Alpaca Hub pouch for a few years now. I've just now been trying the Garage Built Gear Mighty pouch and the utility pouch. That's a little bit bigger, so that'll get you a little more space, and you can carry that like a sling. So this is the wallet that I carry when I'm out all day. You can slim down a bit and being more strategic in the things you carry in your wallet. You can get real no frills and go binder clip, rubber bands, or a Ranger band. Or I've used the Night Eyes financial tool, or you can just use a money clip. A lot of times when I'm using a pouch, I'll just put the cards directly in the pouch, and that's the solution I use, so I eliminate the wallet altogether. I usually don't take my laptop with me unless I have to take my work laptop with me, but in this particular case, I have my tablet and my son's tablet, so that can almost count as 2 laptops in a bag, or a laptop and a tablet. So when slimming down, maybe just pare it down to a tablet if you have your laptop and your tablet, or ditch the laptop and the tablet altogether and just take your phone. You can get a lot done with your phone, and that's a good way to shave some weight and size off your carry. So battery packs, you don't always need the big 20,000 plus milliamp hour battery that's gonna charge your MacBook, multiple tablets, your phone, your friend's phone, your kid's phone, your kid's tablet. For this particular exercise, you can go smaller. You can go thin, or you can potentially go to a short, small one. If you're really worried, you can take both, a thin one and a smaller one. If you look at the 2 that I have here, they still make a smaller footprint together than the one larger one that I take by itself. All right, how many of you have your SSD cards with you when you're out and about for the day? How many of you are transferring more than, say, 250 gigs of data in a given day at a given time? I'm sure that's the exception more than the rule. So with that, you can probably get rid of that SSD card for the time being. I know they're pretty small, but we can even go smaller. So first off, you've seen it in my EDC haul, the SSD card reader, that's about the size of my fingertip, or you can get one of those mini USB thumb drives that are about that same size, and you reduce your space even more. So in the same realm of charging bricks and data transfer, how many USB cables do you carry? Do you carry multiple? You carry one just in case? You carry different formats? This is another area where you can shed some weight. For me, some of the options I'm considering, lever gear makes a cool cord. The rolling charge 6-in-1, a lot of people love that. Or I've got these mini USB-C to USB-C. You can take those and just maybe a lightning dongle, and that'll pretty much keep you covered for most of what you need. And if you really want to save space, look at combining your battery pack with your USB cable. There's tons of packs out there that actually have the cable built in, so you can try one of those. So for your headphones, don't bring your big over-the-ear headphones. I have mine. Just bring some small earbuds, some AirPods, some by Soundcore, JBL, Bose, Sony. Tons of those out there. Find the one that you like the most and pack those in your bag. For my first aid, I need to figure it out a little better. I usually carry my small little kit that I got from, I think, REI. I usually don't do a good job about removing the things I don't need. What I end up doing is just leaving everything in there and adding stuff to it every time I want to use it, or if I run out of one thing. What I'm thinking about is carrying basic medicine, not multiples of each. Think about your dosage. Like my allergy medicine, I can only take one a day, so there's no need to really carry more than one at a given time. I'll also have a few Band-Aids and some alcohol wipes. Let me know if there's any must-haves that you need that I should include in the kit as well. This is the one that probably needs the most work. So most people in the EDC, they're either gonna have a multi-tool, a Leatherman or something like that, or they're gonna have a full-blown tool roll. Usually what I find most times is, unless there's an actual issue, more often than not, I can get by with just the basic tools. Usually a Phillips, a knife, a flathead, and maybe sometimes a file. So thinking about multi-tools that I have, on the smaller side, I have the Gerber dime, but I really only like using that for fixing my kids' toys. I also have the Deluxe Tinker, and that could be in consideration, but I would like to see if I can go even smaller than that. Some other options out there are some of the mini multi-tools by Next Tools. I've heard mixed things about those. Maybe a SOG Power Pint or the Gerber arm bar. It's a little unique because it's narrow, and that may save me a little bit of space. Another alternative is just to get small versions of the tools that I need. So I could do a small screwdriver set, maybe something like the Gerber Shard, the small Gerber pry bit, or I could use something with a smaller blade or a utility blade or a craft knife or something like that, or even some of those blades that have scalpels, like my carabiner has a scalpel blade on it. I'm not quite on the Knipex train yet, so let me know if you use one, and if you do, how you like it. Don't use your flashlight on your phone. Have a dedicated flashlight. Although I do like my large flashlight, it does serve both illumination and defense purposes. You can a lot of times get by with something smaller. I've got an Olight flashlight that I consider. Rovivon makes a ton of small flashlights. My Lumitop EDC 01 and my Cobb light that I found. That's a different format, and I may give that some consideration as well. How many notebooks do you carry? Do you carry a journal, a larger notebook, a medium-sized notebook, a task list? I usually use my Rocketbook day in and day out, but I still want to see if I can go smaller than that. So they sell the little Write in the Rain notebooks. I've got a few field notes. They sell cheap mini notebooks. I think they're $3 for $1 or something like that at Walmart. Or you can really go simple and just take a sheet of paper, fold it up, and have that in your bag. So I usually use a minimal pen. I usually break them into two categories. One that opens into a large pen, like the Quaco Lilliput fountain pen that I have, a Fisher Space pen, a Poca pen, or I think the Lamy Pico does it as well. Or you could use one that's just smaller. Big Idea Design has one. Olight has a small pen. Nightcore has a small pen. There's tons of them out there, but those are just the three that I keep an eye on. One thing you sacrifice with that is the writing is not as comfortable as those that open out into a full pen, but you do maximize in the space savings. For some people, making fire is important and they always have to have that on them. I could go either way. It's up to you depending on what you do, where you are, what your general day looks at. A couple options could be something like my little red lighter. You could use a mini Bic. They have these bullet lighters that are pretty interesting, and just a traditional Zippo is not that big. And if you really want to simplify it, just get some matches and put them in a watertight container. Here's a couple things you might want to consider for the rapid fire round. Zip ties, air tags, rubber bands, ranger bands, duct tape. I like duct tape wrapped around the car, but what I'm really getting into lately is it wrapped around a straw or a pin. Or I've got these little things that I get from my wife that she uses for baking and making, I think, cake pops, and wrapping duct tape around that. The smaller the core, the tighter the roll, and the smaller duct tape you can use. Dude wipes or some kind of cleaning wipes, the foaming soap sheets that I use, The compressed towels, I've shown you those a couple times. Throw 1 or 2 in there. 1 Tide wipe, use that over a Tide pen. I've made that switch and it's definitely smaller. Also think about things that have multiple uses, like the Gerber dime. That could be your utility knife, and it also doubles as a money clip if you really want to minimize space. Or like I was saying, duct tape wrapped around a pen is a perfect combination. Hey, I hope you're liking the video so far. Don't forget to like, comment with any gear reviews you'd like to see in the future, and subscribe to MF for Research. Any support helps grow my little small corner of the EDC community. Now back to the video. All right, now we got all the things that I would consider out of the way. Let's talk about a few that I won't consider. So I'm not really a fan of telescoping pens. Some people like them, I don't. Every telescoping pen that I've ever had broke. Actually, in one of my early videos, my telescoping pen broke right before I started shooting the video. So as far as a key organizer or anything like that goes, I usually only carry my key fob and 1, maybe 2 keys at most. So I'm not really wanting to add extra bulk, but if you've got that janitor life going, you might want to look into one of those as well. Or just slimming down the keys you carry. Look at what you carry and figure out what's important and what don't you need every day. I've tried carrying super glue in the past. Some people do. I never really found a use for it, and when I did want to use it, it ended up drying out and I had to do something anyway. So I'd rather just have duct tape or a charging brick. If I need to charge more than my external batteries can handle, what I'll do is just charge it in my car or something like that, use the bricks to get to where I need to go. In a full loadout, I might want that, but when I'm trying to compress, that's not what I'm taking. So I'm not really gonna talk about things that go pew pew or bang bang. I don't need the headache on YouTube, so there's other YouTubers that talk about that kind of stuff. I'm not. And going smaller, you've got a modular approach. Have you ever had EDC items in one bag and forgot when taking a different bag and left it at home? This way, if you have a bunch of small little kits, you can spread them out across your bags and you're at least carried to 70 to 80% regardless of what bag you take. And you're reducing weight. If you've got any back issues or anything like that, that will be a big help for you. One of the drawbacks, you're gonna run into a situation, that's the risk you run going this approach of being in a situation where you need something that you would normally have in your full kit that you don't have. Probably is gonna happen anyway, but you increase the likelihood of that happening. So that's something you gotta balance off if you're willing to take that risk. For this experiment, why not? I don't see myself getting into too much trouble, so I'll be okay. So this right here is what I decided to use for my final loadout. This, if you've seen it before, I mentioned it earlier, it is the Metro pouch by Alpaca. I think they're phasing them out, but it's tall enough. And just a quick rundown of what I have in there. All of it has been featured in the video so far. So I'll go over this real quick, what I have in here, just so you know. I've got a couple dude wipes. I've got 2 cards. I've got my Victorinox. I've got a small pair of tweezers. I've got my red lighter that I showed. I've got my Lumitop EDC, my Big Idea design pen. I went with a sheet of paper. I've got just a small little bit of medicine, some pain pills and some allergy pills. I've got 2 alcohol wipes, some Band-Aids. I went with a thin battery pack. I've got a SD card reader, and I've just got my phone and my AirPods. So all right, the moment that I'm sure you've been waiting for, how much weight did I save? So the initial, if you remember, was right about 17, 18 pounds. This one comes out to 3 pounds. So it's right down to 0.18% of the original weight. So I was able to get down to that 20%. We'll see how that works out for me. Let me know what you would add. Let me know what I'm missing. Let me know if you would try to go smaller. If you would, try for a week or 2. Let me know what you think. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. This is Lamar, MF for Research, and I'm out.